Chapter 2, The Kitchen Gets Crowded. The next day of vacation brought an unexpected twist. Rain. Chef Pinder arrived in the morning to prepare a lavish brunch, filling the kitchen with the scent of fresh fruit, eggs, and sizzling bacon. The meal was a welcome distraction from the dreary weather, but even over coffee and mimosas, subtle tensions flickered beneath the surface. Reggie attempted to lighten the mood. When is second breakfast, you guys? Jay and Becca rolled their eyes. Not another Lord of the Rings joke. A steady downpour kept the group indoors, forcing them to find ways to entertain themselves within the confines of the townhome. The chessboard and book of crosswords the group found in the living room only provided a temporary distraction. What should have been a cozy, relaxing day soon turned into one filled with underlying tension. With nowhere to escape, couples eventually retreated into their own corners, navigating conversations that had been waiting for the right or wrong moment to surface. Kyle sat at the dining table with his laptop open, pretending to work, but his focus was elsewhere. His gut had been nagging at him ever since Carlos made that comment about the guest house in Barcelona. The more Kyle thought about it, the more something didn't add up. He discreetly searched through old records and some databases he had access to through his firm. The deeper he dug, the more inconsistencies he found. Carlos's past wasn't just murky, it was deliberately obscured. Find anything interesting? Carlos's voice startled Kyle. He snapped the laptop shut. Just checking some work emails, Kyle said casually. Rainy days are perfect for catching up. Carlos gave a knowing smile but said nothing, pouring himself a cup of coffee before walking away. Kyle exhaled, unsure of how much longer he could keep his doubts bottled up. Shane paced near the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. He was annoyed because he had just lost a game of chess to Jared after beating him 3 times in a row. He was distracted. He hated being cooped up. It left too much time for thinking. And what he was thinking about most right now was that damn construction zone that he has been forced to live in back home. Jared's brother started remodeling the sole bathroom in their condo, completely messed it up, and had been dragging his feet on finishing it. They were out thousands of dollars and no closer to having a completed project. Jared refused to hold his brother accountable. Why couldn't Jared just take Shane's side for once instead of his brother's? To add to Shane's annoyance, Jared's phone had buzzed repeatedly during their chess duels with messages Jared refused to check in front of him. Anything important? Shane asked, keeping his voice light. Jared paused for a long moment, staring at the final chess pieces from his previous victory. Just some work stuff. I'll deal with it later. Robin sipped her wine, her eyes drifting over the bookshelf in the living room. She imagined what it would be like to have her own bookstore, a cozy little shop with a built-in wine bar, and a small themed room for rent on the second floor. She could see it so clearly, but Jay never took her dream seriously. You're lost in thought again, Jay said, sitting down beside her. Robin smiled faintly. Just thinking about my future bookstore. Jay sighed. Robin, we've talked about this. It's too risky. You have a solid career. You trained so long to be a doctor. Why throw that away? Robin stared at her wine glass, feeling the familiar frustration rise. It's not throwing it away. It's choosing what I actually want. That job is sucking my soul. Jay squeezed her hand but said nothing. The silence between them said more than words ever could. Becca sat on the bed, typing away at her laptop. She had recently gotten the inspiration to write a book. Building the storylines was a great challenge for her technical engineering mind, and it turns out spicy romance is a lot more entertaining than analyzing software code all day. As she was reviewing her last paragraph, an email popped up on Reggie's open laptop. It was from one of his former professors in Germany. Excited to hear you're starting the PhD application. Her stomach dropped. She remembered the years they spent in Germany so Reggie could do his master's program. She had to quit a job she loved, leave their cozy home, just to move to a foreign country where she didn't know anyone or speak the language. And for what? Why couldn't Reggie get his advanced training in Fargo where they had got their undergrad degrees? They had talked about moving back to Germany again, but she thought it was just a discussion. And now Reggie has already started applying. He knew she didn't want to move again. Reggie walked in, rubbing a towel over his damp hair. Everything okay? Becca forced a smile. Yeah, just checking some emails. She didn't say anything about the application. Not yet. That evening, Chef Pinder returned to prepare dinner, a beautifully plated spread of lobster carbonara and Bahamian specialties. Unlike the previous night's lively conversations, the meal was fairly silent, each person preoccupied with their own thoughts. The rain continued into the evening, the house quiet except for the occasional flicker of conversation. Each couple sat with their own thoughts, their own suspicions, and their own unresolved tensions. The evening viewing of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy helped lighten the mood a bit, but by the time the rain stopped, none of them felt as carefree as they had the day before.